I was appalled that Congress appointed a new deficit reduction committee when they have the report of the Simpson-Bowles committee that they totally ignored and the president repudiated. Please comment on that.
Yeah, I know Erskine and Alan Simpson, and I think they clearly exceeded expectations. I think they did very good work. They got 11 of 18 to vote for it, which is 60%, which is even good enough in the Senate. And I think the president should have embraced it in his State of the Union and, decided what he liked and what he didn't, and should have done it. It should have been incorporated in his budget that came out in February. He didn't do anything until April 13th. But on April 13th, he came out and embraced a lot of the framework without specifics. And so my view is that this commission, as it exists, has been given a target to come up with $1.5 trillion in spending reductions over 10 years. That's going to be backloaded. That's too low. They need to at least double it. They need to consider the good work of Simpson-Bowles and others in determining how to do that. And their work should also be considered as part of the kinds of reforms that are going to come after the 2012 election. The president has now committed that he's going to come out with some specific proposals in early September with regard to what to do about the economy in the short term and some guidance for this joint commission, that's supposed to report by November 23rd. The Restoring Fiscal Sanity report that I talked to you about before has a lot of similarities to Simpson-Bowles, but it has three big differences. Number one, it's a lot broader. Simpson-Bowles was narrower. Secondly, it's a lot more specific. And thirdly, it goes longer. Simpson-Bowles only went to 2021. The problem gets much worse after 2021. So there's lots of ideas out there. Simpson-Bowles clearly did a good job. I mean, what they did and what others have done ought to be on the table. And I think ultimately it will be.
Okay. Get back in the far corner.
What are the, if you could say, do this, what are the two things you suggest that everybody in this room do?
Did everybody in this room do?
Yeah, everybody in this room. If
They already write me.
What's
first, I really want to compliment you for being here, okay? Because the simple fact of the matter is, for us to solve this problem, the first three words of the Constitution have to come alive. We the people. We the people are responsible and accountable for what does or does not happen in Washington. And my experience is the people's ahead of the politicians. Politicians pay a lot more attention to what happens in their district. All right? So to the extent that you get more people that are knowledgeable about this, to the extent that you get more people that are coming to town hall meetings, to the extent that you get more people that are writing opinion pieces, letters to the editor, to the extent that you get more people that are calling, their elected officials' offices, Senate, House, or whatever else, and to the extent that you are asking for, what are you going to do? What is the way forward? We need to do that much more. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is on that website I gave you is within the next month, I'm going to be coming up with a short PowerPoint presentation that uses some of these slides and some different ones that I want to be able to send out to the world for anybody that they want to be able to use to go to their Rotary clubs and to go to PTAs or whatever else. We've got to start getting this out, and we've got to start putting pressure on elected officials to make tough choices sooner rather than later before we have a debt crisis.
You've been patient and had your hand up. Yes. Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for taking time to educate us, and I like your direct approach to it. I think America needs that. One thing that concerns me is, I look around the crowd and it's mostly, I'm 52, but older people like myself.
We're seasoned.
Yeah. Okay. But what concerns me is all this money we're talking about and debt. It's going to affect our younger population. And, I think that they're out of sight, out of mind. And what, in your opinion, is going to get our younger generation involved? Because it's going to truly affect them.
No, that's an excellent question. First, they are going to be disproportionately affected. And so that's why most of the times when I go to different cities, one of my standard stops is a college campus. to try to be able to reach young people, to try to get them more informed and involved, and to try to get them to use social networking. You know, my generation, I'm 59, my generation used to actually have physical marches to do things. The current generation doesn't do that, but they can have virtual marches. They can use social networking and other technology tools to let their voice be heard. And, you know, it's difficult to connect. They care more about peer-to-peer networks. And so I think you have to recognize that you have to reach them in ways that they're comfortable with, and you have to let them act in ways that is, you know, socially acceptable for them given their generation. So it's one of the biggest challenges. And I'm trying to do what I can. You know, in 2008, they voted in record numbers, but guess what? So did everybody else. And so their market share didn't really go up very much. And what I keep on telling them is, look, if you want to be heard, your market share has to be bigger. You have to be more involved than the typical, you know, the typical segment of the population. That's the only way that people are going to take you seriously.
Make a quick comment on this. I think that young people are very eager with fresh ideas to delve into this. And those of us who are older, we look at, oh, this problem is hard, this is heavy, this is going to constrain us, and this is going to cause sacrifice. Well, I think they look at it with a fresh pair of eyes and say, hey, this is an American challenge. We need to rise to meet that challenge. I think young people are very much oriented toward entrepreneurship and small business, taking their creative gifts of their intellect and their hands and making things. And I think that's another whole discussion we could have in terms of reorienting our economy in a direction that gives people opportunity and security as well, returning to some traditional models. And I think that's the kind of language that it really does engage young people who want to potentially delve into this and solve it. So it's a great question. David, I'm sorry, everyone. We better let you all get back to work. We've gone way past the time, and I tried to be fair getting around the room. I think we've got a pretty good cross-section of questions. But I want to thank you personally for coming to spend a little time with us today. I think it's been a very fruitful discussion and dialogue. We appreciate David Walker's courage in trying to lead our country back. Thanks so much for doing it.